Hey there, hello, hello there, Jeff Cutter, and welcome you to another Degrassi video. Today I take a look, it's not an unpopular opinion video like normally I've been doing recently, but this is just basically kind of the case study thing about Raditch. Now, in the playlist that you'll see with the video, you'll see that the whole Degrassi school shooting and Degrassiisms. There's the first majority of it is basically about the school shooting, and there's quite a bit about Raditch and all that. Now, I did a case study from years ago. I think 3 years ago. Yeah, I think it was like 2.5, 3 years ago because I've had this computer set up for more than 2 years. So basically, the point is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is that I basically talked about how he was so hated and all that. And then basically, you know, I did a follow-up video on why I can't get past the whole Raditch situation. Because, he was one of the worst ever, in a sense, in the Rick Murray situation. But then, I like say that everyone blames him, but he's not like, there's got to be a lot of people to blame. So I did a lot of playlists. I did some serials, if you will. But regardless, the point is, gentlemen and ladies and children, that basically doing 3 years of research for this stuff, basically it gets you thinking, did I do something wrong? Did I not talk about it? But anyway, here's the thing. I did a Reddit post a while ago, and for context, this is being taped on June the 25th, 2021. And basically, I called it the massive failures of Raditch in season 4. And this has been a long time coming. So anyway, I said there were many blunders, fuck me. He did in the regular storyline, just to iterate. Not everything was his fault in that timeline. Many characters did their bad stuff in it, including Rick. I shall now list the faults of season 4 for Raditch, which got him canned, rightfully so, from Degrassi. Number 1, he led Rick back to the school just a year after Terry was put in a coma. Number 2, in the deleted scene that stupidly hasn't been shown unless you have a DVD copy of it or been on YouTube, he tells Mark and Alex that Terry isn't a student and can't comment on her affairs, and also that with Rick not having a criminal charge, his hands were tied. Although a lot of people think, was he trying to weasel himself out of the situation, or was he being legitimate? Anyway, number 3, he did not let Degrassi students know, either by video or assembly, about the Rick situation. Meaning he didn't calm down the students when they saw Rick come back with no strings attached. Number 4, he ticked off Emma by saying, "This isn't one of your stupid crusades. Stay out of this." And basically, how Emma's crusades basically have gotten Raditch in a bit of bother, if you will. It might come back to season 2 with the genetically modified foods problem. Number 5, he didn't do anything to squash the bullying from the time Rick came back in Mercy Street to time before, just before time stands still. Number 6 is he left Rick high and dry when he needed Raditch the most. Possibly being jaded with Rick, or wasn't happy with how Rick was trying to explain things. Rick does share some blame because he didn't say the magic word bullying. Number 7, there was another deleted scene that stupidly has been in the main product. Had him preparing Detective Spinner after school after Spinner made chicken noises at Rick. And then basically Snake tries to ask Raditch what's he going to do about the situation, and Raditch basically blows him off. And when he says this is not daycare and making friends is not part of the curriculum, he still missed the mark about Rick's problems. It just seemed like he was way in his thinking. And basically, the media room, when those two met, there was a lot of problems. Number 8 is he tried to squash Dracula because of the Rick Murray incident. He had a fair point, but he tried to squash it with a musical, stifling students' creative ability. Number 9, seemingly to the viewer, he cares more about his ego as a principal than students in the aftermath, because he was worried about how the media and other schools would feel about Degrassi and him as a whole. 10 is he didn't get any answers to the Paint and Feathers prank. And number 11 is he didn't take accountability in saying it to anyone, unless he said it off camera. So anyway, there's 11 key point failures of Raditch in season 4. I didn't get too many people commenting on it, but I'll give them the time of day. One person said, I mean, Degrassi is a public high school. I think when Raditch says his hands are tied, when and Rick back, his hands are actually tied. No litigation off campus. The students at school. I'm not sure what Raditch can do to prevent Rick from coming back. But point 6 is always annoys me. Like, so first when Rick says that they don't like me. Just say you're being harassed. The principal's not there to help you make friends. A musical memer said Raditch was the second worst principal Degrassi's ever had behind the Shep. You're right. He cared about the school's reputation and his own ego more than he cared about the actual students. He was power tripping. He was a tyrant. I think it's important to recognize that the shooting was ultimate Rick's fault and not anybody else, because he was the one who chose to bring the gun to the school and fire at people. Raditch didn't physically make him do it. But still, it's off-putting that how he wasn't paying attention to the students' needs and was on an insane power trip. And Low Neck said, I replied to another thread today, but my assumption is that because the Terry incident didn't happen at school and Terry was no longer a student, Raditch would have no choice but to let him in. No different than anyone else who gets charged with a crime that can't attend public high school and all that. I think it's ridiculous his parents thought it was a good idea. Clearly, he was lying to his mother about school by the time the talent show went initiate when he wanted to return. I can't believe she went along with it. I don't know why. He didn't fit in anywhere and would have had to face all of her friends. I think it was a huge mistake for Raditch to ignore him once he'd been bullied. So yeah, that's the point. Now, I'm going to go through each of the 11 points and try my best to give you Cliff's notes and not overanalyze like I tend to do. Anyway, first point was about Rick being back to Degrassi just a year after Terry was put in a coma. And to the effect, also number 2, about telling Marco and Alex that Terry's not a student and can't comment on her affairs, and basically no criminal charges, his hands were tied. I mean, a lot of people were shocked about Rick allowed to come back to the school. They thought that Rick was expelled. Maybe that was what they thought, Rick was expelled. But no, I was wrong. His parents pulled him out of school. And I can imagine Rick probably lying to his parents about how he got out and basically how he got on their nerves and all that. So basically what you got here is a failure to communicate. You think so, but that's for later. Anyway, Raditch is talked to by Marco and Alex because, you know, Marco was student council president and Alex was his VP. And basically told Raditch about this, and Raditch basically says that with Terry being at private school, I can't comment on her affairs. And then basically, you know, they were upset and then said that, you know, Rick abuses women and all that. And Raditch says, to the best of my knowledge, he has not been charged criminally and all that. And he also makes the points that as long as a student doesn't have criminal charges, he or she will study at my school. Simple as that. I can't do much about it. I think in a sense that Raditch was right because, you know, with a criminal charge, it's like he didn't have a criminal charge. I think he might have been facing questions from Rick's parents. But basically, yeah. I mean, I know that his hands were tied, but thanks to the school board and the police telling them there's no criminal charges. I mean, Raditch could simply have told Rick that Degrassi doesn't want you. It's best that you go elsewhere for a time being. I mean, even if he did that, I mean, it wasn't concrete. If Raditch had basically said to himself, maybe I should not have let Rick back to the school and all that. Maybe he thought of that in the aftermath, but still. I mean, Raditch's hands were kind of tied in a sense. And the school board did screw up. I mean, this is the same school board that basically threw him under the bus in a sense. It could possibly be because of them having to pay a settlement, and basically one of the key moments is to get rid of Raditch. But they didn't fire him, they just reassigned him. If this happened like now in 2021 instead of 2004, Raditch would definitely have been fired and probably canceled through social media. Okay, next point. It says, didn't let students know either by video or assembly about the Rick situation. Now here's the thing. I didn't I kind of knew that he didn't talk to them about the problems because it's like, well, it shows that Raj didn't talk to them. But in one video I watched by Unusually Eric, someone commented that basically Raj's biggest mistake was not letting the students know via video call or by assembly about Rick's things, and basically the fact that they put restrictions on Rick and that basically, you know, all that. And I said, yeah, that makes so much sense. Because he didn't prepare them for Rick's return. It just came out of the blue and all that. And there were a few episodes that were made before Rick came back. That's what people forget. That it wasn't, he was back at the start of season 4. There were a few episodes that dealt with stuff. Like Paige's rape trial and Marco and Alex running for student council president / Emma's stupidity towards Chris. It's like, yeah, Emma deserved it. I honestly say it that. I just thought that basically, you know, Emma went about things the wrong way. Anyway, point number 4 is about taking off Emma that says this isn't one of your stupid crusades, stay out of this. I know everyone says this is a big unpopular opinion, is how much of a grudge Raj had against Emma and all that. Say what you want, but basically I'm not off that hill yet. So here's why. Now, Emma had basically done something with GMO foods in season 2 and tried to convince Raditch that we don't need non-GMO foods. But Raditch says that basically budgeting, it ruins us, and we're lucky to have a cafeteria. Emma makes flyers, Raditch takes them away. Emma actually was waving the white flag, and then this stupid cafeteria commercial comes on. I wonder if Raditch did it or not. It's not completely clear. And then Emma got triggered. She gets mad at Raditch. Raditch blames her for the food fight, even though it was just a pure accident how she started it. She decides to go after Raditch and basically give up her genetically modified foods clause in a sense because, you know, she knows that that's not it. There's a bigger issue, and that's freedom of speech. And she basically tells the school about Raditch basically pestering her to apologize. And, of course, Raditch suspends her. I think he's trying to basically tell the students that basically it's my way or the highway. I'm actually surprised that he didn't get kicked to the curb by the school board after that. But basically, yeah. He may run overboard with the starting detentions and all that. I mean, everyone did a detentionable offense, even a suspendable one, like hacking into the school's files for Toby and Jimmy and Sean. But, of course, Sean, it was just basically personal vendetta. Jeez. So, anyway, yeah. So, I think he still was upset, and that's why he said no, stupid crusades. Basically, he's upset that Emma has to stick her nose into everything. Like, okay, fair enough. But I hate the fact that, you know, he's doing all that. And, you know, that gets Emma to probably do the Orange Ribbon campaign. I wouldn't put it past Emma that the Orange Ribbon campaign was not just to help Paige get revenge on Rick and to make friends, but also to get on Raditch's nerves saying that, you know, you have no right to say this isn't a stupid cause because this is a stupid cause that is actually effective and you have no say. And basically, yeah. I wonder if Snake kind of had a hunch that Raditch and Emma had a grudge against Emma. Anyhow. Number 5 is he didn't do anything that's questionable before Time Stand Still. Like in the time frame between Mercy Street and Time Stand Still, Rick was still being abused. But not as bad as Mercy Street. Emma saw to that. Can't really say much about it. Because there were a few episodes between Time Stands Still and Mercy Street. And Rick was kind of in both, but was more of an afterthought, if you will. And he left Rick high and dry when he needed Raditch the most in point number 6. Now, that was easy to see. However, it wasn't all Raditch's fault. I mean, Rick didn't say the magic words. He was bullying or bothering me, and basically, you know, Raditch took it at face value. What Rick was saying. If Rick had explained himself better, I think Raditch would have either saw to it to fix this problem, or at worst, he would have just said, I'm too busy right now. If something else happens today and all that, come see me and all that. So yeah, like I know he was jaded with Rick and Rick saying that all that, but Rick did kind of ask Raditch in a way to force Jimmy to be his best friend because he's upset that Jimmy won't be his friend. And then they're on the Wacky Brain, on the Wacky Brain team. And basically, Rick wants Jimmy off because he's a tormentor and he won't go to Simpson. Simpson probably would have understood. But basically, yeah, he left Rick high and dry, and basically, a lot of people were mad at him, especially Spinner. I mean, Snake. And then the other deleted scene was that he was going to talk to Spinner after school. And I think he would have got answers. And then basically, Snake tries to talk to him. Raditch tries to talk back, but Snake is pestering him, and then he blurts out, "This is not daycare, and making friends is not part of the curriculum." As in, he still doesn't get it after the paint and feathers thing, and he saw it from his computer. Like, honestly, he still thinks this is about friendship? No, this is not about friendship. This is about the fact that he put Terry in a coma, and people were trying to take revenge for him. Personally, I'd be like, why didn't they take revenge on Rick outside school grounds? But I guess they kind of figured that the police would get involved, and being hurt by the police is a lot worse than being hurt by Raditch, that's for sure. You know, and it has a big point about Raditch is that he can't take constructive criticism. And of course, after that, you could basically put 8, 9, 10, and 11 in the same boat in the aftermath because, he was upset. Or Dracula. Now, Dracula was put on, Liberty and JT put on a good play and all that for the staff, including Raditch. But Raditch basically said, in the wake of what happened with Rick a week earlier, do you think we should put on a play so soon after this? And then Liberty and JT said that basically this is to make the school heal. Okay, but can we do like a musical? Raditch basically thinks a musical will work because it'll point out how good Degrassi was in a sense. That's the problem though, because you could probably guess by that reaction is that he's trying his best to make Degrassi seem better. I mean, Degrassi was shamed on the 6 o'clock news and all that, and a lot of questions and all that. I wouldn't put it past Raditch that he was thinking about the school, but it just came off as being, egotistical. It's kind of like Emma with Manny. Like, Emma was worried about how Manny would be probably sexualized in season 3 about her new look and all that, but we all took it as saying that Emma was jealous and basically she wanted Manny to be prude and plain Jane like Emma. Now remember, Emma didn't have a boyfriend for most of season 3. Sean broke up with her, and then this was before Chris came into the picture. So yeah. And then basically, yeah, it's more like an ego and all that. I did it on Popular Opinion. Who had the bigger ego, Jay or Raditch? I still say Jay. Jay has got to be the biggest ego and all that. But basically, I mean, his heart's in the right place, but the students are basically thinking that they don't care. He doesn't care about the student body. So basically, that's why he's forcing this play on them, if you will. So basically, he never got the answers to the paint and feathers thing. I bet he would have. Now, here's the thing, though, too. The problem here is that, not taking accountability. Snake, I don't think, was attacking Raditch merely for the thought that, his stepdaughter almost died and all that, and Raditch was partially responsible. It was because he wanted accountability. Snake took accountability. He even said it a couple of times. He felt terrible. He even said to everyone. And, with me, it's thinking that Snake might have had a chance to become principal, but I think Snake didn't want to be the monster that was Raditch. He couldn't be like Raditch. Although in later seasons, it would be a lot harder to press. Like, Snake as a principal, the problem is he's not. It's like what Homer says in one episode way back when he says to Lisa that I either underparent or overparent. There's no, like, the switch. It's either on or off. There's no middle ground. And Lisa says, what about a dimmer switch? Because I didn't know much about dimmer switches either. But basically, yeah. And with Simpson, it's like he either overreacts or underreacts. There's no middle ground, it seems, with him. That's the problem. But regardless, Raditch failed miserably because he basically put himself above all other things. The students were basically angry that he would do such stupid things. And I think they took him out on it. And basically, he was pissed off that the students would say this stuff about him. And basically said, I don't like your tone. I'm going to throw you in detention. What he did to JT and Liberty, basically, that was the last straw. And that gave JT and Liberty more ammo to get at Raditch. Granted, it got them to finally realize they're a couple. But, a few days later, Raditch was gone, and basically he was gone from Degrassi forever. He was never seen or even mentioned after that episode, Bark at the Moon, which was sad. I mean, he could have had a passing reference, but no, they didn't want that. I don't know why. But anyway, yeah, I've talked a lot about this whole situation about Raditch and all that. To me, it's got to be that he's failed a lot of people and all that. He's not the worst villain in the Rick Murray situation. That belongs to Rick himself, then Jay, then Spinner, then Alex because of their bullying of him. He was basically the worst villain being a passerby, like a passenger, if you will. He should have taken action. Simple as that. Anyway, I'm Drop Diamond. Thanks for watching.